Greetings everybody, Ocarina Games Online. Welcome back to more The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Last time, we started our adventure. We joined up with Navi to go meet the Deku tree. We were stopped by Mito, who said we needed to get a sword and shield. And we did. So we got past Mito, met with the Deku tree, and he told us we needed to break this curse of his. And in this episode, let's see if we can break that curse. Welcome to the inside of the Deku tree, the first dungeon in the game, and a fairly simple dungeon, which is to be expected from a first dungeon. Here, we have a more aggressive Deku Baba. Hit him once, hit him again, and we didn't chop off his leg, we didn't cut off his neck, so we got a Deku Nut instead. Deku Nuts commonly are not used in this game. They will stun enemies around you for a brief period of time, so they're nice for stunning, but other than that, most people don't use them. I fall into that category personally. These kinds of grass bushes, I did not point out before, over time, they'll respawn, so if you need to cut them down again and again, you can do that. Let's just get ourselves a few more Deku Nuts. Ugh. Got a bunch of burps to get out. Look at this wall. The vines growing on it give it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it, Link. It is as she says. We are able to climb this vine, which can help us to, well, ascend the Deku tree. You might notice we don't have a map now. We will have to get that problem resolved soon. By soon, I mean right about now, actually. You found the dungeon map. Press start to get into the subscreens and look at the map subscreen. Blue chambers are places you have already visited. Your current location is the flashing room. Move the analog stick up and down to select a floor view. So now we actually do have a map. But this map isn't really that helpful because it doesn't show us where we are. But I mean, at least it's better than nothing. You can open a door by standing in front of and pressing A. Yeah. Pay attention to what the action icon says. That's the blue icon at the top of the screen. Okay, so walk here. It says open. We can enter. And here's where our shield comes in handy. Reflect. And then we gotta catch up to you. Oh, well, forgive me, Master. If I give you a clue, will you let me go? When you jump off a high cliff, if you hold analog stick forward, you will roll on the ground when you land and won't get hurt from the fall. I can't guarantee it will work, though, if the cliff is really, really high. Well, try if you are feeling bold. As implied by what he says, if you jump from a high enough cliff, you will take fall damage. But if the cliff is not that high, you are able to prevent the fall damage by just rolling forward. Which is very nice. Anyways, move up here. There's a vine up here that isn't entirely obvious, but there's a rather hidden treasure chest here. It just contains a recovery heart, but, I mean, if it's there, no reason to say no to it. But right here, something a bit more important. You got the thing. We have the fairy slingshot. So now we have a ranged attack. Press C to take it out and hold it. As you hold C, you can aim with the analog stick. Release C to unleash a Deku seed. If you want to shoot right away, when you first press C, hold down C a little longer to get a seed ready. So, let's go and equip that. I'm not going to bother equipping the Deku Nuts. We have 30 seeds. And if you run out of seeds, well, Radish chose first. Press whatever C button you have it equipped to get ready. Press that C button again to take aim. Release it to fire. Run out of bullets, or seeds rather. You can find some in the grass. We have Deku seeds. Now what you need to do, and this, I will admit, this took me a little bit of... I had to actually look this up the first time I played this. You gotta hit the ladder. I somehow never did figure that out on my own. As sad as it is, but I know it now, so that's what's important. Then again, I don't even know how old I was when I first played this game. I want to say like 10 years old. That'd be like 7 years ago now. Now I really feel old. Okay, but the main reason we want to get the slingshot, we can attack these things. These typically have 2 different names, and it's weird like that. I don't know what their official name is in this game. Let's find out. Skull Waltula. Alright, the other one I was going to say was Waltula, but it's Skull Waltula in this case. So, now we know that. And that also shows another thing that you can do with Navi, where you can analyze enemies, essentially, and figure out what's special about them. So, we have Skull... Like, for example, Skull Waltulas. I didn't show it, but if you're trying to climb on the vines, and they see you, they will charge at you. And, yeah, they can knock you out the vines. Here, we have a regular Skulltula. They take 2 hits, so a few more hits than the Skulltulas. And they're all around a lot more annoying because, as I will demonstrate, if you get too close to them, they do that. So, I don't really care for them personally. Anyways, in here, there's actually something fairly important that we'll be seeing in a little bit. You might hear something in the background. You're on a time limit. So, get to where you need to go fast, which we want to go right here. Because first off, we have in this treasure chest a recovery heart. How convenient, considering I took damage twice over. But here we have something a bit more important. This thing. Looks like a regular Waltula, right? Well, attack it. Attack it again. And it leaves something behind. You destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token providing you destroyed it. You get a gold Skulltula token. There are 100 of those in the entire game, and I will be getting every last one of them. God, have mercy on my soul. And at the very least, I remember where the majority of them are. There are some I don't remember where they are, but worst case scenario, I can look them up and like do a montage of them. Which brings me to something that is gonna feel a little bit awkward to me. Well, first off, we have the compass. So now we basically have the full layout. Let's take a look at the map now. We have a 5-floor dungeon. We explore the majority of the 3rd floor, and the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor, which will use the basement floors. Okay, I did it again. So the awkward thing I was talking about. Normally when I play this game, I will try to get everything as soon as it's possible to get it. But I'm probably going to try to break away from that in this LP because it might get a bit redundant. We'll see how I manage it though. That aside, that other function of the Deku stick, you can use it as a torch. And if you wait long enough, the Deku stick will burn out. However, to prevent this, just swing your sword, and you'll put it away. Alrighty. Now, we need to get to the basement floor somehow. Now, you might remember, let me try to get a shot down here. A little hard. But all the way down there, there's a web that we saw when we first came in here. What you gotta do is from this high up, Geronimo! You can break the web, and now we're in new territory. And we have another golden Skulltula. Go ahead and attack him. I could like try to jump attack, get to him, but that's a little weird to do. And speaking of weird to do, I really don't like trying to get this golden Skulltula token. Easiest way to get it is like this. So, if you don't get it, don't worry. You can come back to this later on when you have better equipment. But anyways, step on the switch. You have a light. And we got a treasure chest here. It's gonna be nothing important. Usually the important treasure chests are the large ones. The small ones usually don't have that important stuff. But the main thing that we got out of that is that we lit the torch, which we can use to carry the Deku stick over here. And we can move forward. Moving on with our lives. And I never said what these things were called. Deku scrubs. Basically, yeah, they'll try to run from you like this. And they can burrow back in, which sucks. You gotta reflect their shots, though, because you get close to them, they're gonna just burrow back in, you can't get them. Please forgive me, Master. I'll never do it again. If you spare me, I'll teach you something cool. You will never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper order. The order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor? 2, 3, 1, eh? I want to remember that. And we also see another mechanic of the slingshot. See this eye on the wall? Well, rule of thumb in video games, there's an eye, you gotta shoot it. And that opens the door so we can move on forward some more. After you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can dive. I bet there are some interesting things underwater. So now we have swimming. You float when you swim. Why is this important? Down there, we see there's a switch, but we float. You hold A to dive, and hit that switch which lowers the water. Why do you need to lower the water? Well, first off, you are once again on a time limit, so act quickly. Oh, no! That wasn't supposed to happen. Come on, game. Okay, let's try this again. We gotta move under this spike thing. And then we can jump up here. Another one of you guys. Alright, let's at least stock up on seeds. Alright. So, that's what I was talking about before in the first episode. How when you use a jump attack, it's a lot more powerful. Normally that Skulltula dies in 2 hits. With a jump attack, it died in 1 hit. Stand next to this block and grab hold of it with A. While holding A, you can push or pull it. If you stand next to the block and press A while pressing analog stick towards the block, you can climb on top of it. Pay attention to what the action icon says. Okay. So, if we stand next to this block and are stationary and press A, we can grab it. We can then push it or pull it. We can't move it left or right. Then again, we can't move it left or right regardless. Now, while moving next to it, or like trying to essentially hug it, we can climb it. Very nice. Alrighty, so next up. Uh-oh. Get out of here. Okay. We have more torches. This shouldn't be rocket science since we've done this before. And we can move forward with our lives. Oh, hi, buddy. I didn't see you there. And now you're dead. Thank you and good night. Alright. We've got 2 paths we can go. Oh, new enemy. We have Goma Larvae. Or Goma Larva, rather. Well, I guess Larvae would technically not be wrong. Oh, yeah. If you have multiple targets, you can press Z to cycle through them. In the options menu on the main screen, where you can select your file, you can set it to whether you gotta hold down the button to God, I can't talk. What's new? If you go to the options, you can set it so that you either need to tap the Z to cycle between various targets or hold down Z to stay locked on. I personally prefer the former of the two. Thank you and good night. Okay. Right here, though, we can't do anything yet because we have this wall. No matter what you do, you can't get past that wall. We're gonna have to come back to that later. Just remember that's there. Alright. Now we can move through here. Once we've made our way through here, this area might look familiar to you. This is that first room on the basement floor, however, we're on a higher ledge now. And there's one thing I want to point about this room that's kind of dickish, whether intentional or otherwise. I'm gonna need to get some healing. Fortunately, it's not getting that bad to heal. But this is kind of dickish. See that torch up there? That one that's lit? The biggest thing is, when I first played this game, I thought what you were supposed to do is push this to the edge, get on top of it, and then jump to that torch to light it. What you actually need to do is push this off the ledge. Now we have a shortcut. Equip your Deku stick, light your stick with that torch, then we can get here. And then just swing it, and we drop on down to the second basement floor. Thankfully, there are 2 recovery hearts here, which is good for me, because I was down to half a heart. Because I was... Oh! That was not supposed to happen. Alright, so we got 3... Really? Their shots collided with one another. Alright, I'm just gonna hit all 3 of these to demonstrate. Hitting them just like that will not do you any good. You actually need to do... Remember that hint that said 231, 23 is number 1? Well, that hint applies here. Once you hit the last one, catch up to him. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, the R2 remains stunned anyways. There we go. How did you know our secret? How irritating. It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal the secret of Queen Goma to you. In order to administer the coup de grace to Queen Goma, strike with your sword while she's stunned. Oh, Queenie. Sorry about that. Leaves behind a recovery heart, so at least we're going into the boss with full health, because skull indicates boss. Surprise. And here we are at the boss fight. There seems to be something crawling on the ceiling. Look up. Starting out this fight against parasitic armored arachnid Goma. When the eye's red, fire at it. Then its eye's gonna turn green. That is your chance to strike it with all of your most powerful sword attacks, aka jump attacks. After that, Goma is gonna climb onto the ceiling. Just keep locked onto it. Goma can, in fact, spawn some Goma larvae, which you might want to be careful about, but otherwise, quick, you can do that, and keep slashing at it. And just like that, Goma is already gone. Every time you defeat a boss, they're going to leave behind a heart container, increasing your life by 1. Now we have 4 hearts instead of just 3. 1 less chance for us to die. Well done, Link. Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst be able to carry out my wishes. Now I have yet more to tell ye. Wouldst thou listen? Now listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile sorceress powers in his search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is in that sacred realm that one will find the divine relic, the Triforce, which contains the essence of the gods. Before time began, before spirits and life existed, 3 golden goddesses descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Din, the goddess of power. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. Furore, the goddess of courage. Din. With her strong flaming arms, she cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. Nehru poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. Furore, with her rich soul, produced all life forms who would uphold the law. The 3 great goddesses, their labors completed, departed for the heavens, and the golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses left the world. Since then, the sacred triangles have become the basis of our world's providence, and the resting place of the triangles has become the sacred realm. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Thou must never suffer that man with his evil heart to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man who cast the death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. Though your valiant efforts to break the curse were successful, I was doomed before you started. Yes, I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. This is Hyrule's final hope. Link, go now to Hyrule Castle. There, thou wilt surely meet the Princess of Destiny. Take this stone with you, the stone that man wanted so much that he cast the curse on me. You got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is the spiritual stone of the forest, now entrusted to you by the great Deku tree. The future depends upon thee, Link. Thou art courageous. Navi the fairy, help Link carry out my will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. Let's go to Hyrule Castle, Link. Goodbye, great Deku tree. And with that, it seems our efforts were in vain. Let's hope to carry out the Deku tree's will. Hey, Link, what did you do? The great Deku tree, did he die? How could you do a thing like that? It's all your fault. You were saying before I entered that I was weak. If that were true, how could I kill the Mito. Also further supporting my theory that Mito is basically that bully. Blame everything that you didn't do on you. I know all about that. Let's not harp on about that too much. We now have our goal to head off to Hyrule Castle. So, next time on The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, we could go to Hyrule Castle, which we will probably do next time, but there's a few loose ends I want to get done really quick. See you guys then.